Man, Quantel is a husband, a father, a son, a hip hop artist, a pastor, a plethora of things. But to sum it up, man, just a average guy, navigating through life. You know what I'm saying? That had an encounter with the Lord and kind of think I've been changed ever since. So Quantel is your neighbor. Quantel is the guy you blow the horn at. Quantel is the guy you go shoot ball with. It's just Quantel is a bowl of gumbo. It's just all mixed up. Quantel's a lot of things, but I like to just key in on I think I'm just a husband, a father, an artist, and a pastor. Well, True Mog was actually I inherited it. Like I was with my cousin and I had probably just been saved hot 27 days, and we were all coming together, excited about the Lord, excited about what God was doing in our lives, and we just wanted to reach other people. I come from a extreme circumstance, a crazy background, so I was just so excited to share to my homies and where I come from what the Lord was doing, and we just kind of felt like it needed a name. And I was talking to my cousin, and we were just bricking on names, like who are we? And I looked at his Facebook and he had his name, and he was like, "Yo, David Bong," and he had parentheses. I was like, "What is True Mo?" And he was like, nah, TRUMOG, I'm a true man of God. And I was like, yo, that's who we gonna be. That's how people gonna know us as. So we started off as a group of dudes and saying, yo, we strive to let's be true men of God. I'm definitely into hip hop. I appreciate all forms of music. I love and appreciate literally every genre of music, but my forte, my cup is hip hop. I love hip hop. I appreciate worship. I appreciate gospel. I appreciate music. I'm a music lover. But if I'm going to a restaurant and you ask me my favorite dish, it's definitely hip hop. I was just, I think I was reading up on Apostle Paul, and he was talking about, you can either be a slave to your sin or you could be a slave to righteousness. But the fact is, we're going to be a slave to something. And just to be honest, man, I had watched the Root series for like a whole week and a half, and it was powerful. And I never ever watched Roots, and I watched that, and I had reached out to my man Teron Carter, aka Bonafide from the legendary group Grits. And I reached out to him, and I was giving him this concept that I had of like being a slave to our sin and tying that in with Black History Month and our culture and our ancestors and everything we have been through as a people. So when you listen to the song, it's saying, am I Kunta Kinte? Am I Chicken George? And it's talking like that, like I was a slave to my sin, but I don't want no more. We using terms like massa and plantation, and we're digging through the movie Roots, but we're tying it into our faith. We're tying it into how we have been slaves to our sin, and Jesus has came and set us free. That Jesus has took us off the plantation of sin, gave us our freedom papers, and we don't have to return back to massa. We don't have to return back to that way of living. A champion means to me someone that not only wins but never really give up. Never really gives up, and it's like having a mindset that we are playing a fixed game. Like we're fighting a fixed fight. Like it's like a boxer that's getting in the ring and knowing that the opponent is fixed, know that he's been paid to throw the fight. So when I look at a champion, and I got my little brother Saint on that one, I was telling him that we're fighting a fixed fight. We win in the end. Jesus has came. We're just going through the rounds and the motions, but we are champions. We are victorious in the end. I don't care what the fourth quarter looked like, and I don't care how it may look, and you may perceive or look at me and say you've been beaten, you've been defeated. But now I'm a champion, not because of what I've done, but because of what my Lord and Savior done. So we're all champions. When you come to know Christ, you begin to win. And not so much in the physical or the financial, but this battle and this war of life, we already have the victory. So champion is just saying that, hey, I win in the end. It actually was again referring to Samson and Delilah. And when you hear that song, I have a verse in there that says, I really want to walk with the Lord, but the internet got free porn. And it was just tapping into those issues, dealing with a family member who was faithful in his marriage, who was faithful to serving his wife and kids. And I said, and it didn't work for him. He ended up getting hurt out the deal, and just really, and then he has to go out and face temptation and overcome and overthrow certain situations that the enemy is throwing to him. But I'm like, wow, he done what he was supposed to do. And it just, Delilah just talks about all the temptations that we all go through, and how we look at Samson, who was weak for Delilah, who was weak in revealing his strength. We all have a Delilah in our life. We all are weak to a certain situation that exposes us and pulls us from God. So, some people may be drugs, some may be pride, some may be lust. It's like Delilah came and had Samson. He got so comfortable with her, and he constantly revealed his strength. He exposed himself. And I really just use that song to tap into, like, what are we exposing ourselves to? I ask myself every day, Quantel, what is the Delilah in your life? Growing up in my neighborhood, growing up in Shiloh, man, people dare you to do a lot of things. They put the leaf or something on somebody's shoulder, like, I dare you to knock it off. I dare you to hit him. I dare you to say this. I dare you. I double dare you. When that double dare came, you could not do the double dare. So when I was thinking about how I grew up and how I was always dared to do something wrong, I really was like, what would have happened if somebody dared me to do right? What would have happened if somebody dared me to make good grades? What would have happened if somebody dared me to honor women, and dared me to go to college, and dared me to love the Lord, and dared me not to join the game? Like, I double dare you not to get in the game. Like, and I was like, wow, like, why do we use something that was so powerful for, I dare you to slap him, I dare you to kiss her, I dare you to skip school? It was like, what if we take this and somewhat redeem it? So I reached out to the homie K Drama, and I was like, yo, listen, this is the concept. Sent it to him. He sent it back with the chorus. So we was really just saying, hey, we're going to come dare kids to do right. We're going to dare people to serve in the church. We're going to dare people to love the Lord. I dare you to honor a woman. So we was just really trying to redeem what I felt like had me in a lot of trouble in school. Yeah, I really believe that all things are made by the Lord and for the Lord. And I believe that, Satan has definitely had his way in music. He's definitely, had his way, and especially in the hip hop culture. We have genres of music that disrespect women, that promote gang violence and promote a lifestyle that, I've been delivered from. And when I came to know the good news, and which is the gospel, I was just like, what happens when the good news hits the studio? It turns into good music. So it was just really like, hey, this is what happens when the gospel hits music. This is what happens when the good news hits hip hop. It turns into good music. So it's just really like, hey, listen, we got banging beats. We're gonna have dope flows. We're gonna have the culture of hip hop, and we're gonna rap as just as well, if not better. But we're gonna do it with a redeeming purpose. We want people to jump, shake their dreads, turn up too, without having to commit sins against the Holy God. Letter to God Part 2 is definitely a sequel to Letter to God Part 1, which is a free download. You can get it on a YouTube channel. Letter to God Part 2, when I first came to the Lord, I didn't really know how to pray. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know how to really confess to the Lord what I was going through. I was in a state where people are telling me, just pray, and I'm a new Christian. I'm like, what does that mean? To talk to a stranger and tell them all my personal business? So I just went to the studio one day, and I just wrote down and just rapped everything I was battling with in Letter to Christ Part 1. And I was just like, Lord, this is what I'm battling. I'm battling with lust. I'm battling with regret. I'm wrapped in fear. I'm scared. Like, just battle everything I couldn't overcome. And I just went to my dude's studio and I recorded it. And next thing I know, people were emailing me and texting me and inboxing me like, how can I get that song, that Letter to Christ? I was like, what song? I didn't know when I left he had put it on his SoundCloud. And so the Letter to Christ thing is dear to me because a friend that's singing on that song, on the Letter to Christ Part 1, she has passed away. And I done the Letter to Christ Part 2. So the Letter to Christ series is really me confessing. It's really what I'm going through. Like it's always a battle. It's always personal. It's always me again coming to God. Like, can you help me in this? That song, I pray that it touch and reach people, but it's really Quantel's outlet. It's really so. That Letter to Christ Part 2 was me somewhat thanking God for what I asked for and wrote to him in Letter to Christ Part 1. So it was really like, okay, Lord, I'm a little better now. I'm married now, you know, raising my family, planted at a church. I've grown from the first letter. It's like an update to the first letter. Nah, it was trying to definitely honor a woman that's been beside me through thick and thin. It was it. Like you know what I'm saying? I actually got my homeboy Antonio Tate singing that hook. Like it was just really like, yo, I don't want to live my life without you. You know, I sat down and I realized like I had experienced life without my wife, and I experienced life with her. So I definitely take with her for 500, Alex. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just really just honoring her, man. She was just such a trooper, man. Like, you know, she just held us down and just really loved on me at times where through it all. So that song was me like, yo, thank you. It's just a grown man song. It's definitely for married people. It's definitely a grown man song. Just honoring her and thanking the Lord for the gift, realizing that she was given to me as a gift from the Lord, and I should cherish that gift. Yeah, Quantel is a father, a husband. I love hip hop. I love the Lord. I'm just trying to figure out how to mesh the two. I'm just trying to figure out how to not only be faithful to my family, but be faithful to my local church, be faithful to the gift God has given me. And I really feel like I've been called to affect and infect the culture of hip hop with the gospel. I really feel like just blending the two and really using everything the Lord has given me to honor him.